Guys, welcome to FPG. Today we're gonna take a deeper look into another one of the Chaos Gods, Slaanesh. If you like it, give it a like, give it a sub, but without further ado, let's get right into heresy, shall we? And here we go.
The human mind is a dark and deep well that no one can say to fully understand
Very
in
true.
its infinite complexity.
True.
In its most Stygian and loathsome recesses dwell horrid, contradicting thoughts and emotions that would make us all cower before what might be hidden inside all of us.
Not
They
good.
are our most coveted and unspeakable dreams. The shameless beast that prides itself on devouring our conscience and morality. Wantings and
That's him.
desires that we tried
I remember him.
so much to keep hidden that we believed no one could ever uncover. Or at least, so we had thought.
He's a lot of
As we
tentacles
go
going on.
by our daily lives, a being neither man nor woman, in the shape of a slithering snake, creeps into our very souls.
Okay.
Their presence, their unfathomable depravity is part of all of us. Their impossible aspirations and obsession have shaken the very heavens, and their
Oh my
unspeakable
God.
excess
Are those faces skinned over the shoulder pads? That's insane, man. Those designs are kinda crazy. You know, I always love the Chaos God design stuff, but that's just wild. With the skin of a face right over the shoulder pad. That's wild. That's just crazy what's going on here. I'm really interested to see what Slaanesh brings to the table, but also I'm kind of scared, to be honest, because what I heard until now was a little very freaky. All that Hellraiser vibe going on, it's, yeah, for special people, I would say.
has twisted the minds of billions.
Jeez.
They know your deepest desires,
Okay,
and they can control and morph them as they so wish.
very nice.
But worst of all, they can make them all feel reasonable and understandable in your own morality. They
That's
are the
interesting.
Dark Prince, the Lord of Excess, the Master of Obsession,
Hell yeah.
Slaanesh. We will now go deep into the Dark Prince's realm, a place
go.
of impossible temptations that gnaw at the deepest and hidden desires one has in the soul.
Oh yeah, now seeing the realm, what interested me a lot was because Slaanesh was basically created by the Elder and way later than the other Chaos God. Is his realm, did it evolve later and were just attached to it, or did it just, broke out in the middle, or what happened there? Maybe we will learn it here, but it was a very interesting question in my head. Also like the 6 circles of seduction because of the circles of hell and what's going on there. That's a very nice thing. I always loved that kind of stuff coming from Dante. That was pretty cool, so let's see what it will deliver.
May Sigma protect us as we explore the terrible Chaos God that is Slaanesh.
Bad moon. Okay.
Raise buildings and sing songs in my glory. In my name, pursue your arts and enshrine all beauty. Let all people follow their every desire, sate their
Sounds good to
every
me.
hunger, and deny themselves no adventure. For it is in these things, and in no other, that you will find the greatest pleasure. And it is through these things, and through each other, that you shall rise yourselves higher, even unto the steps of
I remember
my
that
throne.
cinematic. It was cool.
You will take pleasure in all that is, though your bodies will break and your souls be forfeit. For I am Slaanesh, most jealous of gods, and most demanding of lovers, and my thirst for you shall never be sated.
Ooh. Hello.
Sigma, protect us all. No peace can be found in the realms of chaos.
Nurgle!
Hate, agony, torment, despair. These mantras have twisted the realms in theaters of war and slaughter without end. Mortality fades away
Hellraiser.
as time, space, and the most ordinary laws of nature hold no power here. There is, however, one realm, one domain whose master is not as keen on ravaging war throughout the plains as its similars. A more civilized place, made to appeal to the minds of mortals and alike.
Nice.
A place where the will of man goes to die, and
Okay.
led place to a festering, all-consuming indulgence. Within the 6 circles of seduction can be found many rare and exotic treasures to please the avaricious, and halls of pleasure to tantalize the carnal. Massive, opulent arenas draw those of great martial pride, while the vainglorious lord over those who they consider to be inferior to them. Yet it is all a cruel...
Oh, so there's some kind of Colosseum stuff going on with, bread and games and stuff like that? That's pretty cool. I love that aspect because, often in culture you have it that there's always been and there must always be this kind of stuff for entertainment. Or if the people are bored, they will just, go to it because it's a basic desire to be entertained. And that's what the Colosseums were for. It's pretty interesting to put it in the lore like that. That's pretty cool.
illusion. For the Dark Prince's realm is one of pure horror. For every marble hall there is a palace wrought from tainted flesh. For every pile of gold and precious stones there is a mountain of shattered hearts.
Is that a mall?
6 circles await for the foolish or bold enough to attempt reaching the Dark Prince, held high up in his palace, at the heart of his realm, sat on his throne. This is the Realm of Slaanesh. The first circle is avidity. All wandering souls will walk through great, magnificent halls, their sides tempested with rubies, diamonds, emeralds, and sapphires, all glinting with the light given off by meticulously refined and detailed crystal chandeliers. Coins, gold ingots, priceless paintings, statues, and many other works of art are piled up in the great stacks everywhere on the white, smooth, marbled floor. But to try and grasp any of these goods is to be doomed forever. Coins and gems take off their disguises and reveal themselves as starving maggots, which will dig in the skin of their victims and start eating them from the inside out.
Oh my.
To touch any of the statues and paintings is to become part of them, your consciousness intact, but forever trapped to be another piece in the prince's screaming gallery.
That's fucked up.
The second circle is gluttony. Whoever may come here is presented with vast mahogany tables, deemed by the soft warm light of a fireplace, and gold-trimmed candlesticks.
Oh, how nice.
Sumptuous courses, exotic foods, and the intense scent of wine lure the victim to take a seat. One bite is all it takes to enslave it to its desires, now burning with the intention of gorging itself till its body can no more, or his belly contorts to the point of regurgitating its guts.
That's a nice mouth.
By the second circle lies the circle of carnality. Here the soul is tempted by all sorts of carnal pleasure.
Is there a special reason that they all have, basically claws? That crab theme going on? Is there something special about it that, connects it with Slaanesh? Or is it just random aesthetic choice that just going with it? I like it, it's just very confusing, you know?
Lustful maidens roam an emerald verdant plain, their semblances taking the shapes and forms of the victim's greatest desires.
Nice.
To let yourself be tempted, however, is a fool's wish, for jagged clawed hands and serpentine tongues are hidden behind an illusion, masking creatures with a different hunger for fleshy desires.
Yummy.
Upon traversing the third trial, a tested soul is to encroach upon the circle of paramountcy. Here is where its pride and hunger for power are tempted. The soul is greeted by roaring crowds, nobles' courts, vassals from different kingdoms, or column after column of readied soldiers. It's a paradise where every desire is granted on a whim, every request fulfilled with a flick of a finger. It's when the wandering soul has reached the peak of his bottomless pride that it discovers how fickle reality truly is, and how strong the shining bars of its new golden prison really are. As every smile, every curtsy, and every action is sullied with the fear of betrayal, a surmounting paranoia comes crashing down on the poor lost soul, starting a slow and never-ending descent into madness. The next ordeal is the Circle of Vainglory. This is a beautiful garden filled with perfumed and colourful flowers, hiding the most treacherous of thorn stems. Most dangerous of all are the whispers and chuckles of women and nymphs telling of past successes, bigger and small, dedicating particular attention to the unheeded temptations of the past.
I could pass that.
For a soul to be lured by such adulations means to stray away from the beaten path. Be led in the thick forest's undergrowth, where thorny briars and roots take a hold of their victim and start slowly breaking every bone and joint.
Oh, yes.
Whilst the flattering voices now turn to mocking laughter, as they list every one of the soul's failures in the cruelest of parodies.
Always
Finally,
the polar opposites.
The last and most dangerous of the 6 circles of seduction, the circle of indolency. Here lies a white stretch of thin white sand, a seemingly infinite coastline touched by ambrosial limpid waters, frozen in a never-ending sunset. Every wave, every stone and every grain of sand is soothing to the touch, and as a wandering soul tries to move forward, it realizes that at every step its legs become heavier and heavier.
That's not good.
The topaz warm light beams of the dying sun caress its skin, and soon the lost soul finds it increasingly harder to breathe. And as all strength starts to leave the body, the sea's sweet scent invades its senses to finally make it collapse in the final slumber. And there on the sand it will lie till the waves grasp its body and devour the remains, its brittle bones now becoming the new white grains of sand to grow the bleak coast evermore.
I have no
and
idea
so
how
the
to
cycle
pass that.
will continue, as its remains join the others who tried. Those who dared come from so far, almost onto the steps of the Dark Prince's throne.
That's very interesting. That's actually super.
Brothers and sisters.
Oh, here they come.
Rejoice. Pleasure beyond imagining awaits you.
And eaters. Let's go.
Desire. Pride. Pain. Perfection!
Can say what you want, but they look super
what a
cool.
world you mortals inhabit, rich in sensation, suffused with suffering, and reeking of all manner of unfulfilled desire. Come, embrace me, and learn the exquisite gifts my prince can bestow. Slaanesh, the Prince of Pleasure, is one of the 4 dark entities which govern the realms of chaos. Their dominion is passion, twisted and contorted in all its aspects
Some
and
crazy hair.
expressions. Theirs is the mastery of unspeakable pleasure and rending suffering, the very essence of the god of excess.
Now he looks...
Furthermore, something that would come unheard to the
Badass.
ears of the most dilettante scholars is that their followers can very much vary in their nature. For excess can take many different forms, all equally important in the eyes of the prince. For instance, most people would think that all warriors who give themselves to the fore would turn to Khorne, the god of blood and murder. However,
sense, yes.
many of the such individuals are not kin to the act of slaughter itself, or at least not as much as on its perfect and masterful execution. Slaanesh will gift you the speed, dexterity, and grace for every swing of your sword, to be as precise as a painter's stroke, delicate as a lover's caress, terrible.
Oh, just seeing something about the orcs before. Isn't Slaanesh then... I know the orcs are basically hard to influence by the chaos because of all their mental stuff going on, but their desire or need is basically to, you know, fight and wreak havoc and war. So, not walk, but war. So, doesn't that kind of line up with Slaanesh? I wonder, because yes, they don't have other desires and stuff, but it seems to be an instinct or a basic desire for orcs, you know, to fight, wreak havoc, and yeah, that's why, I wonder if that kind of aligns with him and how Slaanesh stands, you know, opposed to the orcs. That would be interesting to me. If there's anything about that in the lore, that would be pretty interesting. Also, I don't know why, but I feel Slaanesh isn't that popular. Maybe he is, but I don't know why. I think if you cover the basics of basically a fantasy universe, Nurgle makes sense. He's kind of, you know, the in other fantasy stuff, I would say he's basically something like the undead, you know, the disgusting, the body, the rotting, stuff like that. He isn't in this universe, but he covers this kind of niche, I would say. Then Khorne is basically the, you know, the war, the big beefy dudes with the big swords just wanting to fight, wanting to smash heads in, collect skulls, seeing blood flow, the brutal warriors. And the third one, oh my god, his name is the worst, you know, I can't speak his name. Zitesh, you know, the one that is basically, to me, like, more of Hamerus Mora. A lot of people like this, you know, the knowledge seeking, all of that, especially if they play kind of a magic caster fantasy, seeking all the knowledge of the world, that kind of stuff. It fits this fantasy. Slaanesh would also make sense with his lore that he was created way later and wasn't there from the beginning like the others. Seems very much niche, so I wonder if he's overall played a lot in the games, in the tabletop, stuff like that. If he is very popular there, or rather the most unpopular of the Chaos Gods. That is what I'm kind of interested in to know.
Just as
So
much
if you know,
as beautiful.
put it in the comments. Would be
That
interesting.
is the moment when, in the eyes of the Dark Prince, death becomes the most sublime of arts. When life reaches its highest peak, made to be witnessed one moment at a time, contemplated in its profound majesty.
Okay.
In the same manner, most would have you believe that
The aesthetics
scholars
are
and
very
mages
interesting.
who turn to the dark gods would seek the patronage of TZEENTCH, the lord of magic and trickery.
Yeah, makes sense.
And yet, just as many prefer to win the dark arts through the whispers sang in their ears by the sweet lips of the Prince of Pleasure. For he who can uncover mankind's deepest desires is also a master of whispers, keeper of secrets, holder of ancient and terrible knowledge that would scare off any sane individual.
So maybe he is, some sort of for the fanatics. If you love one thing, it's fine, and you go with one of the Chaos Gods, but if you fanatically love something, and it's basically desire of yours, and you go fully into it, and it becomes all you are, maybe, maybe that's the road of Slaanesh. I don't know yet, but it more and more feels like that, especially with the explanation coming up, a very devoted dark paladin or something that is very fanatic in their beliefs. That seems to be more the Slaanesh route, I would say, than, the light version of it, where just seeking knowledge, just seeking justice. But if you get fanatically, maybe then, I don't know. It's really hard for me to pinpoint what Slaanesh really is, because it seems to be, some piece of here, some piece of there, maybe more like mixed and multicultural in a way. It's kind of weird to say it that way, but that's the way I feel about Slaanesh. It's so many different things just mixed together, but grown to the extreme, basically, And also all the BDSM vibes, so that's also going on there.
However, caution is a luxury you cannot allow yourself to have when trying to uncover the world's mysteries. And so, these wandering followers will eventually be consumed by a slowly building obsession. Their hunger for
obsession,
secrets,
exactly.
a gaping, starving hole which will carve itself in their hearts, craving for more. Always more whispers, always more knowledge.
Yes.
And once they will finally obtain it all, they will rejoice and bathe in the stillness quiet of their filled desires.
Very
Then
nice.
they'll break, screaming and tearing at their eyes and ears as a cacophony of thoughts and emotions takes a hold of their sanity.
Not good.
In a matter of moments, they will be crushed by the impossible weight of the secrets they uncovered until they are but husks, emptied of everything
That's
they once
disgusting,
were.
man. The
Such
dripping?
is the price to pay when attempting to scale the steps to the Dark Prince's throne.
Doesn't look good.
Last but not least, Slaanesh is the youngest of the four brothers,
Yes.
and is therefore also considered the weakest, as his power is overshadowed
really?
by the one of his brothers. However, as the scriptures teach, the realms of chaos are indeed fickle. Like a great obsidian pendulum, power
Oh yeah, seeing it on the grand scale map, it seems that his domain is very, very small compared to the others. Most likely because it's the newest one, but maybe it also has some, correlation with his powers. That's pretty interesting. Also very interesting that there's a very normal looking castle in the very right corner, as well as a windmill. That is, okay, sure, what's going on there?
swings perpetually
Vacation
back
place.
and forth from one god to the other. Thus it is foreseen that one day Slaanesh may grow so powerful to overwhelm all his older brothers and break the stalemate which is the great game. For he is the god of excess, and by his own nature, the Chaos Gods represent deeds, concepts, and emotions brought to their extreme.
It would be an interesting
As one of the
plot.
gods grows in strength, the realms bending and
Chaos
breaking
forms.
under his will, the Dark Prince smiles. For they know that there is excess in rage, there is suffering in despair, and there
Oh yeah, I just thought about it. If the, Eldar basically in 40k created it and then turned into the Dark Eldar is in the fantasy universe, because I haven't learned really about it yet, only, a little bit in cinematics, was it basically the same just with an old elf kingdom maybe? So elves turn into, dark elves through Slaanesh and creating Slaanesh that way? Or as a parallel to the 40k one? I don't know the answer to that, and I don't think he said something about that, so I hope someone can answer this, because it is a little confusing with the two universes,
is love in malice.
Again.
The Warbringers of the Chaos Gods march forth, towering over their lesser minions,
Hell yeah.
all given form by the will of Slaanesh.
Very
Before
good.
the battle even begins, Slaanesh's seductive song echoes mournfully around the battlefield, ensnaring the souls of those who hear it. The demonettes of Slaanesh have wicked claws that cut deep and can cut through iron and flesh alike. Their
Look at
voices
that.
are intoxicating and seducing at the same time. As they
Bounce.
approach their prey, they beg them to join them in a paradise that staves off the tedium of existence. Many are the fools who fall for this temptation, only to discover that the palaces of pleasure and promises of excessive indulgence are only a mask of a terrible hell that never ends. The demonettes are often accompanied by outriders, terrible entities mounted on swift steeds. They move across the battlefield with incredible agility, always seeking their prey.
Oh,
They are said
both
to be
things.
so fast, they can charm time itself, and so can travel and
Okay.
move between the seconds to reach their unfortunate
Sure,
enemies
that's
that are
wild.
often not prepared to respond to the swiftness of these relentless hunters.
Okay, sure.
These creatures can sense the unique smells of the souls of their victims, and once they have identified the scent, they can pursue their prey through time and space for eternity if they so desire.
Oh, that
But
sounds
as the
like
malignant
hellhounds.
and cruel beings that they are, they keep chasing their victims to the limit of their sanity, only leaving the slimmest chance of hope in them, only to continue to torment them until they have finally given up. It is then
army
that
looks
the
crazy.
Seekers drag their souls to the realm of chaos to be tormented forever in Slaanesh's loathsome chambers.
Oh, nice.
Delighting in the exquisite pain the hosts of excess inflict upon the battlefield, the Keeper of Secrets marches above all, dealing blows with stunning perfection, moving
Oh,
swiftly
secrets.
from one target to another, not wasting any movement and showcasing the delicate precision with which they kill. It is known
Impressive.
that these greater demons of Slaanesh are also very capable spellcasters, able to manifest terrible expressions of destructive magic into the world. These beings feel every sensation there is with exhilarated senses, and they transmit the enhanced expressions of pain to their unfortunate.
I love the aesthetic that, it's the realm of, chaos, but also pleasure and stuff. And so the heralds have this peacock-like theme going on. That's cool, because, they stand for usually beauty and natural beauty and stuff like that. So it's interesting to put it into this, otherwise BDSM vibe. Just this peacock aesthetic. That's pretty cool. And A little scary in a way.
Victims. The hosts of Slaanesh march forth full of vibrant colours and wicked manifestations of unlimited and unrestrained excess.
Hell yeah.
Their dark splendour is terrible to behold, and it speaks doom to all who witness it.
Fair. Fair, I would say.
And you ask how I could do such a thing. Well, I ask you, how could you not? Once I had gazed upon the beauty of the Lord of the Light, I knew I had no choice.
Oh
To
god.
catch even a glimpse of his immortal radiance is to be swept away by the pure ecstasy his
No.
perfect form invokes. I gave up my own soul willingly. He shall be my lover and my mater for all eternity, and I shall be his.
Worst swinger club ever.
The followers of Slaanesh are decadent in the extreme and revel in their outrageousness. Many of them wear garish colours, delicate clothing and flowing robes offset with leather or fur,
Yep.
all draped and adorned with
Very interesting
fine gold
outfits.
or silver chains. Their armor is chased with intricate patterns and engravings, all crafted to perfection.
Yes,
Those
sure.
mortals that worship the Prince of Pleasure have been able to catch his attention and often rewarded with mutations that enable them to experience and feel greater sensations of pleasure from battle.
Amazing.
Some are said to become obsessed at pursuing these sensations, and the most devoted of them lose the humanity in their eyes as these become larger and turn black.
That's fine.
Despite this, there are many Slaanesh followers that cannot be identified as easily as their appearance can show. Many of the already tainted and fallen lie hidden within human society, disguised as ordinary folk, with their own interests and occupations, but always ready to strike when the time is right.
Jack the Rippers, I guess.
To enter the realm of Slaanesh is to enter a place of eternal damnation. The ones who go into the realm rarely leave, for they are destined to find what they desire the most. The land morphing them to match their impulses and deepest wishes. This is a place where every and all wild desire, dream, and passion is pushed to an all-consuming obsession. Chaos offers the quick fulfillment of dreams, desires, and gratification of the self. And of all 4 Chaos Gods, none make this offer more tempting than Lord Slaanesh.
So that was Slaanesh. I always thought Slaanesh is kinda wild, you know? The weirdest thing for me is usually you would think Papa Nurgle, you know, that's pretty disgusting. That's pretty, ooh, that goes under your skin, gives you goosebumps, stuff like that. But really, it isn't. Not that much. This, you know, if you learn more about Slaanesh, you kind of feel this slight uncomfortable feeling. It is weird, because, you know, it should be the Prince of Pleasure on all of that, but all the stuff coming with it, all the design choices, you know, stuff going on there, you feel a little uncomfortable. It is just so different. I don't know exactly how to pinpoint Slaanesh, you know. It's kind of, for me, Slaanesh is the one I might have the most struggle with, you know, just pinpointing out and figuring out, yes, I identify Slaanesh as this. The same as people say with Slaanesh's gender, you know, it could be male, it could be female, it could be both. No gender at all. It's just very fluent, very you just can't grab it. You know, that is for me Slaanesh as a whole. It's a big, not really a mystery, but it is just very different to things I can just pinpoint at and say, yes, Nurgle is this, Khorne is that, and so on. This is just, Slaanesh is a little bit out of reach. I think that's pretty interesting, but that is why I have a very difficult time, to really understand Slaanesh and get behind exactly what Slaanesh is. But for a lot of people, I would say that could be one of the biggest appeals. They don't know what it is, but they'll really vibe with it. And they say, oh yeah, I like this aspect and this aspect, because Slaanesh has so many different things combined into them. It's just very impressive, and I really like it. It seems very niche, but for those people who love it, they love it a lot, It is just how it is, and I enjoyed learning more about Slaanesh, and I will learn more about the other ones as well. So if you liked it, give it a like, maybe a sub, whatever. This is all I have for now. There will be a lot more coming. So thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one. Bye.